this is the famous Sahoski Informator, right? And this is number one. Number one, so shout out to all those chess players that who were born in 1966. We will watch one game from this ancient, because it's 58 years old, Informator, and the game number one of the fourth issue of Informator is Simagin against Sokolsky. It's a correspondence game. b3, e5, bishop b2, knight c6, e3, d6, so it's supporting this, but strangely it's blocking this. Interesting. c4, clearly taking control of d5, since black is not fighting for it. g6, this is interesting because it could become a kind of a King's Indian, right? So it's fighting with a King's Indian formation against the Larsen opening, but in 1966 maybe it wasn't called the Larsen opening. Okay, g3. Okay, now we have multiple holes in here, and this is a correspondence game. Bishop g7, bishop g2, knight ge7. That's very interesting because it means he wants to play this. And knight c3, bishop e6, so he's fighting for d5 now. Finally he's fighting for d5. Knight g e2, maybe why this was played, because he wants to try to keep control of d5, so he cannot put the knight in front. Maybe can also help to push this. Okay. Oh, and black finally decided to play d5, but then it doesn't make sense. Why he didn't castle? Why he wants to immediately push? d3, and here black plays queen d7. Probably the idea is bishop h3. There is a comment saying that queen d7 is not good. It was better to castle, like I just told you. But I don't know how they reach that idea. And why do I tell you that? Because obviously they didn't have a computer, maybe, and these games are not checked by a computer, okay? Knight a4. Okay, so this would fork both of them. Let's see, he plays b6, but now you can see that it starts to become a weak diagonal, and it's kind of dangerous, right? What does white play here? So please pause the video. Once more, shout out to all the chess players that were born in 1966. This is game number one from the famous Informator. But pause the video and try to find the next move for white. Okay? This is a correspondence game, so you can think as much as you want. Because generally there was one move in three days. They had one move in 3 days. They were using postcards to play, and the postcard would take maybe 7-10 days to arrive. It depends where, obviously. I don't know. Simagin versus Sokolsky, maybe they were both in Russia. Who knows? Knight f4, boom! Amazing move, which is possible because he never castled, and that's the real problem, right? So why this move is great? Because you cannot take, otherwise you lose this, and then you lose the castling. But most of all is the thing that black is losing the bishop pair. Okay, he played castle, and obviously, boom, knight takes c6, queen takes c6, Knight c3, it goes back again because now this maybe is not so strong anymore. e4, d4, f5, c takes d5, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, and queen takes d5. Castle, rook e8, rook c1. As you can see, black maybe is trying to attack on the king side, but the problem is that it doesn't have enough pieces to do that, or to make it happen in a good manner. Instead, white is attacking the queen side that maybe has more chances to produce an advantage. As you can see, the next move by black, rook f7, is made to defend this because this will need to move. But then white plays f3, boom. As you can see, all the pieces are converging on c6. But they are both grandmasters, right? And so when you get attacked, what do? You attack something else. Bishop h6. This is easy to parry, so rook c3, and finally knight d8 because he knows that he will have to evacuate that square, right? F takes c4, f takes c4, and now there is a problem here, right? But he plays queen c2. Queen c2 makes sense because if he takes, it doesn't take with the king but with the queen, and so it's still protected, and so it's doing a kind of pressure. To solve the problem, black thinks, let's play c6, but probably not good enough. Now white needs to change defender because this will maybe be used for something else, so he plays bishop c1, a good move because it's protecting this that is attacked here, right? At the moment it was defended by this, but this is 5, this is 3, so you want to use the 5 somewhere else. Rook e f8, and rook takes f7, queen takes f7, and now there is a great move by white. So pause the video and try to find out what white played and why. The move is queen e2. So there are possibilities to go here. It's active as a move, but he also frees a little this one, okay? Queen e7, rook c4 check. So that was why queen e2 was a good move, because it changed the order of the pieces. King h8, rook c2, rook f5, rook e2, rook f8, bishop b2, because this is here and this is finally can be pushed, bishop g7. So now we know why he put the rook on e2, because he wanted to attack. Queen c2, so he wants to go maybe on the f-file, rook e8, rook f2, boom. Here, rook f2, it says that white has a decisive advantage, okay? A decisive advantage, can you imagine? We are 3-6, 3-6, there is no real material inequality, but this is a knight, he has a bishop pair, this is inactive, defending this, not so good, right? g5, bishop h3, taking control of the diagonal, queen b4, maybe he wants to go to e1 to give check, king g2, queen b5, bishop d7, rook e7, and now there is a great move by white once more. Can you find it? This move ends the game. I hope you enjoyed it. This was the Informant number 1, 1966. What is the move by white? Is boom, d5. And you say, why it's a great move? Let me tell you, if you take on d7, right, if you do this is checkmate, right? If you do this, checkmate. No, I can take. No, you can't. You can't. You can't. Okay? This is a pin, so you can't. So, what else can black do? Can take on here? Yes, but not a good idea, right? Because it would be kind of over very soon. And not only, if it takes there, you can take this in some ways, so it's not in a good position. d5 clearly beautiful move because it's threatening this checkmate. So you need to do something about it, about the checkmate. So what did I analyze this guy? Let's see. Yeah, let's say that he did this, maybe the best one, and he gets check. Then he can go here, but again not a great idea, I think, because probably there is something like this, and he cannot do this because of this, and is a threatening checkmate again. Okay, so beautiful game by correspondence with a nice finish. This was once more the issue number 1 from 1966 of Informator. Let me know if you like it, so we will make more videos about this ancient book that, by the way, was probably used by Fisher.